أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. This is lesson 6 on the course on discerning between the 10 qira'at. Previous lesson we looked at the rules of Ra, and Warush reading it flat was the rule that we had in the qira'at. Today we're looking at the lamat. So the lam will generally be read flat with tarqiq. It will only be read full with tafkhim. Firstly, if it is in the word Allah, and then on condition, it must be preceded by either a fatha or a dhamma. So we have Rasulullah and Abdullah. The lam in the lafzul jalala, the word Allah, being read full on those particular conditions. That's the normal rule for us, as well as most of the other Qur'an. Again, it is Warsh. So you can see the Warsh is the easiest of all the Qira'at to identify. We had before Mad Badal, Mad Leen, and we have the Rad as well we had before, and now the Lam. So any of those changes being applied, then you know it is Warsh. So he will read the Lam that has a Fatha. These conditions you need to look for. You're looking for a Lam that has a Fatha. You will read it full on the condition that it is preceded by one of these letters, a Sad, a Ta, or a La. And then furthermore, these letters have a Fatha or a Sukun. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. Let's look at it over in the examples. We have the word Salah. Okay, so you've got the Lam and there's a Fatha. Then you check what comes before. You have the letter Sad. And that Sad also has a Fatha. Right, so you have the Lam of the Fatha being preceded by either Sad, Ta, or La. And that letter must have a Fatha or a Sukun. So you have Salah meeting the conditions. Therefore, Warush will read it as Salah. We have Tala'at. You have the Lam with the Fatha, preceded by the Ta, also with the Fatha. So Tala'at will be Tala'at for Warush. You have Walla. You have the Lam. It doesn't matter that it is Mushaddad or not. The Lam has a Fatha, preceded is a La that also has a Fatha. Wallah is the recitation for Warsh. The Lam will be full. So all three of these examples, the preceding letter had a Fatha. These examples over here, the Lam with a Fatha, preceded a Sad, but now with a Sukun. But that is still also one of the conditions to be met. So it will still be read full. So وَسَيَصْلَوْنَ will become وَسَيَصْلَوْنَ. You have مَطَلَعِ, the Lam, preceding it is a Ta with a Sukun. مَطَلَعِ. And then lastly you have Al-Lama, Lam with a Fatha being preceded by a Allah with a Sukun. Al-Lam. Reading the Lam full is known as Tawliv. Is known as Tawliv. You normally use the word Tafkhim, which can be used, but we use the term Tawliv instead when referring to the Lam being read full. So in the exercise, you have to identify where the change will apply in the Lam. Where will the Lam be read full for Warsh? You're looking for a Lam with a Fatha. That's the first thing. The Lam must have a Fatha. Then you look for the letter before it. Must be a Sad, Ta, or Dha. And the letter before must have a Fatha or a Sukun. So you can pause the video at this particular point and then continue once you have done. The next part of the exercise is to listen to the application, and you have a visual cue of where to focus on, where the change is going to happen. When you hear this change being applied, you know it is the riwayah of Warsh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة فبدل الذين ظلموا. The next one is a bit tricky. There are two lambs over here. So only the first one meets the condition. Only the first one will be read full. The second one, the second one, it doesn't meet the condition. So that one will be read flat. Okay. وَوَظَّلْنَا عَلَيْكُمُ الْغَمَامَ فَأَنزَلْنَا عَلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا رِجْزًا مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ وَمَا ظَلَمُونَا وَلَكِن كَانُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ يَظْلِمُونَ وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ يا قوم إنكم ظلمتم أنفسكم الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا. So again, there were other changes that were applied for Warsh in these verses, but the one you had to focus on for the lesson for today was the lamb being read full. But for revision purposes, this one over here, وَآتُ الزَّكَاةِ, being read longer than normal, that is one of the rules we covered before. So if you didn't hear the lamb being applied, but you heard that mad battle being applied, that's another way of identifying that it was the riwayah of Warsh that was being recited. So you can make use of the website to listen to these surah and to as many other surahs as you can, listening for the lamb being read full. In these videos, I'm giving you certain guidelines as to when the rule is being applied, but you don't really need to worry about that, right? Ultimately, what we are trying to achieve is to be able to identify when somebody else is reciting which riwayat is. So that person that is reciting, he needs to know the conditions and apply it appropriately. All you need to do is listen for the change, right? So there were quite a number of conditions attached to the rule for this particular lesson. So if it's a bit much for you, then just throw all that out and forget about all of that. Just listen for the lamb being read full. And when you hear that, you know it is warsh. Similarly for the lesson, the previous one with the ra'at, conditions were mentioned that need to be met for it to be read flat. But you can just forget about all of that and just focus on hearing the ra being read flat. When it's supposed to have been full, then you know it is warsh. Okay, so that will make it a bit easier. If you're finding at this point that the rules are becoming a bit much and it's a bit hectic, then just try and focus on what the change is and know who applies the change. The ra being read flat is warsh. The lam being read full is warsh. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.